Hello students, welcome to the video lecture series on electrical installation maintenance and testing. In the last class we have discussed the numerical based on voltage drop. Today we will discuss the important point that is called as the economics of power transmission. Under this we will discuss the economic choice of the conductor. So let's go to the today's topic. Before that we are interested for the elements of the transmission line. We know that for the transmission purpose we are using the 3-phase 3 wire is used for reasons associated with the economy. The principal element are the conductors, 3 for a single circuit line and 6 for a double circuit line. The material we are using aluminum steel reinforced with and the stepped up and stepped down transformer at sending and receiving end. We are using the line insulators, mechanically support line, conductor and isolate them electrically from ground. Support we require the steel towers to provide the support to the conductors. We require the power protective devices, the ground wires, lightning arresters, circuit breaker relay. We require the voltage regulating devices which maintain the voltage at receiving end within the permissible limit. So these are the points or materials required for the transmission purpose. Now, why we are always bothering about the economic of the power transmission? Because we know that whenever the amount of power is transmitted is utilized by the consumer or by the people who uses this power for their working purpose. Now, following two fundamental economic principle which closely influence the electrical design of the transmission line will be discussed. So the first is economic choice of the conductor size and second is the economic choice of the transmission voltage. So we have to take care of these two. Now first, economic choice of the conductor size is nothing but the cost of the conductor material is generally a very considerable part of the total cost of the transmission line. The most economical area of the conductor is that for which total annual cost of the transmission line is minimum. This is known as Kelvin's law. So what is the Kelvin's law? Kelvin's law states that the cost of the conductor material is generally a very considerable part of the total cost of transmission line. The most economical area of the conductor is that for which total annual cost of transmission line is minimum. Now, the total annual cost of the transmission line is minimum, that we have to take care. So it depends on the annual charge on capital outlay and the annual cost of energy wasted. Let's say for the annual charge on capital outlay, for the overhead system it will be annual interest and depreciation on capital cost of the conductors, supports and insulators and cost of their erection. Let's say the cost of insulator is a constant. The conductor cost is directly proportional to the cross section of the area and the cost of support and is partially constant their erection and partially is directly proportional to the cross section. Therefore, the annual charge becomes P1 plus P2 times A, where P1 and P2 are constant and A is the area of cross section of the conductor. So the total annual cost became P1 plus P2 into A plus P3 by A. Now what is P3? The P3 is the annual cost of energy wasted. So let's say energy lost in the conductor due to the I square R loss. So whenever we are transmitting the power, so there is a loss. Assuming the constant I in the conductor throughout a year, the energy lost is directly proportional to the 1 by A. Hence, annual cost of energy wasted is equal to P3 by A. P3 is a constant, so that is inversely proportional to the area. So this factor we have to consider. This total C is equal to P1 plus P2 times A plus P3 by A. Here only A is a variable because all these are a constant. Therefore, total annual cost of transmission line will be minimum if the differentiation of C with respect to A is 0. Now let's say d by dA of C is equal to 0. Put the value of C, d by dA, P1 plus P2A plus P3 by A is equal to 0. So it means that constant derivative is 0, A dA by dA will cancel, so it becomes P2. Now we know that this P3 into A raised to minus 1 and the derivative of this 2 is minus 1 into A, minus 1 into A, and minus from this minus 1, so that is minus 2. Now this is 1 upon A raised to 2, so that is minus, so this minus P3 divided by A bracket square, or you can say A square is equal to 0. Solve this. P2 is equal to P3 by A square, so we will get, by rearranging the terms, so 1A here and 1A here, P2A is equal to P3A. It means that the variable part of the annual charge is equal to annual cost of energy wasted. So we can make the statement like, most economical area of the conductor is that for which variable part of the annual charge is equal to the cost of energy losses per year. So this is called as a derivation of Kelvin's law. Now we can derive this equation with the help of graphical illustration also. So let's say on x-axis we have to consider the area of cross section. So this is the area of cross section. On the y-axis we have to consider the annual cost. By adding 1 and 2 we will get the 3. So let's say the graph of 1 is a linear, so P1 plus P2A. The graph of P2, or you can say 2, is P3 by A. By adding these 2 points we will get, so this loci and this point will get this point. So in this way the summation of these 2 will get the third resultant, and that is the value P1 plus P2 plus P3 by A. Now we are interested to find out the lowest point on the curve represent the most economical area of the cross section. So this is the economical area of cross section, and it should be passed from these two intersections. Now what are the limitations of the Kelvin's law? It is not easy to estimate the energy loss in the line without actual load curve, so which is not available at the time of estimation. This law does not take into the account several physical factors like safe current density, mechanical strain, corona loss, etc. The interest and depreciation on capital outlay cannot be determined accurately. So this is related to the derivation of Kelvin's law by two ways. One is a traditional way and second is a graphical way, and along with the limitations. In the next class we will discuss the numerical based on the Kelvin's law. Thank you. God bless you all.